Welcome to the first episode of Unscripted Leadership. I'm so glad that you're here. This episode is especially meaningful to me because, one, it's my very first podcast, and it's centered on a topic that's incredibly close to my heart, which is coaching. So, for most of my career, I've been an in-house head of HR or in some capacity as part of a large or small organization, leading organizations, shaping talent strategy, and developing leaders from the inside. And while I love that work, one of my absolute favorite parts of the role has always been the coaching aspect of it. So the one-on-one conversations, helping someone see themselves more clearly through the self-discovery, watching that moment when something clicks for them and they start to move differently has been one of the most energizing part of that coaching work for me. And over time, that passion really pulled me toward the work that I'm doing now, which is really intentional and broad. And it's led me to start Proverbs Leadership Institute, where coaching is at the core of the solutions that we offer our clients. So it's been especially powerful that I didn't have to do this journey alone. And today's guest is Marc Gimferrer. And I went through this coaching training and ICF certification journey with Marc. So we got to learn side by side together. We challenged each other, and our friendship grew along the way and beyond the program, which takes us to today. So this conversation is just two coach nerds who respect each other, and you get to listen in on it. So Marc is a leader, a coach, a great human, and someone who went through not just the natural coaching, because he is definitely that, but also felt the need to get the credentialing to add to his natural skills. Marc is in Barcelona, Spain, and he works for a large organization, and I'll let him share a little bit about himself and his family, the things that are important to him, and just introduce himself. So Marc, welcome.
Thank you, Misale. It's great to be here, and especially in the first episode of your podcast. It's an honor. I'm totally flattered by the chance. So thanks a lot. And yeah, we are. I'm so happy to have this journey together with you about our coaching uh, expertise that we are building. So that's really great. As you said, yes, I'm from Barcelona, and I work in a multinational. Actually, it's HP for more than 20 years. I've been also working in other companies before joining HP. And my expertise is on program management. My background is quality management, KPIs, processes, improvement. And with now the era of transformation, of digital transformation, I'm really leading different projects and teams to to change drastically how we manage our operations, and really excited for the present and the future, where coaching is definitely key to support our clients to navigate through these really accelerated times of change.
Well, let's start kind of from the beginning, and let's keep it simple, at least for now. Tell me how coaching first started to show up in your world. Because we all know that there are people that are natural coaches that we've been really fortunate to be led by throughout our career. And I have um, many examples that I can share, and I'm sure that you can too. But yeah, tell me where it showed up for you, where you said, "Wow, this means something to me as a recipient of it," and how it stuck with you.
Since I started my career, I felt the need to support others, to really help them grow. And the first way it was about mentoring on different subjects. First, about
Mm.
helping them to get, for example, Lean Six Sigma certifications, green belt, black belt. But then I turned with more seniority in my career. I started mentoring young people, young colleagues that were asking for support, for guidance. And that was great, but it was, let's say, natural. And it was actually when I was promoted to manager myself that the company gave me the chance to have a coach to support my transition from individual contributor to manager. And through those 6 months that I had a coach, I quickly saw that it was great technique, great methodology to embrace, to really professionalize the support I was giving to peers over years. And I saw clearly that that was what I wanted to do, to formalize the support to others into proper coaching services.
Where did you learn how to be? I know there's like a natural proclivity for people to just be more curious, because I think that's probably one of the biggest competencies that I've learned as I hone my coaching skills in more of a scientific way. But I think those of us who lean toward this as a profession, they have a lot of curiosity. So I think it's clear that that's something that's part of your DNA. But did you have a leader or somebody early on in your career that modeled that for you, where you felt like, I want to be this type of a leader and this type of a coach?
Well, that's interesting. That's a good question. Um, I can recall about two. One more in the early times here in the multinational, that it was more like a mentor to me, that I was seeing how he was behaving in a very natural way, but wisely, and driving the team. And I tried to, let's say, emulate what he was doing in my own area of
Mhm.
work, let's say. And it was a few years ago that I had another person, another manager, was actually my direct manager, but was coaching me clearly on how to maneuver on the politics between teams. That was not easy at all. And how we were convincing our, let's say, colleagues in other departments to move on the right direction through these transformations that we were starting to drive. And the way that this person was leading it was, in a way, making them to get into the direction that we wanted in a smooth way,
Mhm.
not confrontational, and bringing a lot of reflections that, in a way, were getting on the right trend, let's say. And I was really admiring um, how this person was doing it, and actually, sometimes he would start with me and say, Mark, you are not helping. We are moving on that direction. We need to move. And we had these one-to-ones. We were discussing, and I was saying it. They, okay, I get it now. So it was great. And actually was a person that, when saw me ready, promoted me directly to manager, which was a great confirmation that it was definitely working. No? So yeah, that definitely it's a key. So two of the leaders that really I I admire. And actually, funny thing is that now, as the work goes by, this first person I was mentioning is actually getting closer to our business, the business I am working now. And my goal is
Mm.
to get to work again with him. I told him, to him and to my current manager, get ready. I'm coming with you. I'm coming with you, yes or yes. Because, it's what you want in the end, to have good leaders that guide you and that
Yeah.
you can still learn a lot of things from.
No, for sure. It's amazing how the early experiences shape how we lead. And then when you find
Mhm.
leaders that you learn so much from, like, you can't get enough. You want to keep following them throughout their careers. I have a leader like that who I followed until he finally retired. So now he's just my mentor, and I call him when I, run into something really
Mhm.
complicated, just to run it by him. But I understand exactly what you mean. Well, so let's talk about what made you decide to pursue something more formal, like the
Mhm.
ICF credentialing. That I'm curious. Obviously, we went through this journey together, and I've got my reasons. But
Mhm.
what was the thing that caused you to do that, and also what surprised you most about the real coaching versus what you were already doing as a leader and what you experienced from other leaders?
Credentialing, in the end, for me, it's a way of confirming the the steps that I'm doing to grow as a coach. And I felt, despite having great feedback from my coaches, I'm super, super happy of how well it's perceived and
Mhm.
it's really going well. Um, I felt that we are in the end in a world that that we are setting some, let's say, some marks that show clearly without discussion that you get that knowledge. No, we get it. I was just mentioning the green belt or the black belt that I also acquired some time ago, like the same of the Scrum Master certification for the Agile methodology. So in a way, it's a way of confirming that you are there, that you have the expertise and the knowledge. So I said, I want to jump into this challenge, and also because I will be joining the summit of ICF in Paris in May, so in a month from now. And there will be a lot of coaches on different levels of accreditation. But I felt that I wanted to have the first level, let's say, after the training we were certified by the training company. But I thought that I needed to have the accreditation by ICF and join ICF. And probably I'm really looking forward to that because it's going to be really exciting to see many other coaches and leverage the synergy of being there and the opportunities that that will bring a big community like the International Coaching Federation, right? So that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking that I should do it in order to move forward with this.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of similarities in my experience. I don't know if you feel this too. It has opened up this curiosity and a thirst for understanding the science behind it. I think like when we were practicing it inside of our
Hmm.
organizations and modeling leaders who practice coaching
Hmm.
as part of their leadership style, it's one thing. Like it works. It's about being curious and really living through the many leadership competencies that we're taught as we're coming up as leaders. But the process and our experience of going through, the learning leading up to the accreditation and sitting through the accreditation process has really
Hmm.
opened up a different level of curiosity to the science behind coaching. And there's so much
Hmm.
work out there now. I feel like I can continue to be the lifetime learner that I am and still, have
Hmm.
aha moments on a regular basis. So I hate that I'm gonna miss you this year in Paris, but next year we should make a pact to go to the event. I don't know where it's gonna be. I'm sure it'll be another wonderful place like Paris, but I look forward to catching up and maybe making a vacation of it if it's somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, deal.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about the less of the formal sort of coaching role, but in your
Mm.
day to day as you have led teams in your organization, like where does
Mhm.
coaching show up for you?
During the last years that I was having a team and I was managing the team, in the middle of that, let's say, period, I joined the training, the coaching training, and I felt on in myself. I felt clearly a lot much more confidence on myself as a leader, as a manager of the team. And I felt that I was, especially when you have to manage situations, um, give some type of feedback. Sometimes it's not so pleasant to give.
Yeah,
Um, I felt much more secure, embracing much better the message, passing it in a way that was, let's say, in a way perceived better by the person that was receiving it. and I felt the difference in me and the difference in my team. So I can really see the impact that coaching has done. That is not only, as you said, doing coaching per se, to my coachees, is in my day to day. How I now I'm using much more the questioning technique. I'm asking much more than just directing, right? Or
Hmm.
imposing or suggesting in a pushy way. That actually it's something that happened to me a few years ago, or not a few, some years ago, that I was, seen as talented, but sometimes a little too pushy. No? And I learned from that, and I had to accept it, digest it, and change. And I did change. But through this coaching journey, I have done another level of transformation of myself into a much better leader. And um, I'm really happy for that, to have taken the decision to do that, the coaching training and now the certification, big time.
Again, going back to what we learn about the competencies around coaching, and I know the there's a lot that we bring to it just because of how we naturally show up empathetically and one-on-one and leadership roles. But I think it really changes the quality of the conversations that we have as leaders, to your point, and especially when we are leading during difficult times. I think that's
Mhm,
when that's when coaching comes up as even more powerful than sort of the day to day. That's I look back on times that I've had as a leader where I've had to lead during difficult times, and I wish that I had
mhm.
more than just my natural abilities to coach,
Yeah.
and that I had discovered, the science behind coaching and asking more questions, powerful questions, and being curious, as opposed to the feeling that we have as leaders often, which is that we are supposed to have all the answers, and we miss it a
Mhm,
lot when we don't lead with questions, but feel this pressure that I'm not even sure where it comes from, probably internally for many of us, that we're supposed to show up to our teams with all the answers. So that's a myth that's been busted for me, as I've really leaned into the coaching experience. So I
mhm,
love that. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing in clients, and I'll share. I said this, and I know you didn't get a chance to take a look at the intro to the podcast in general that I sent out there prior to this first guest episode. But one of the things that really started to just continue to pop up in my mind as I was thinking about even doing this podcast was, you know, I who am I looking to help? Like who, beyond the people that I get to coach during,
mhm,
one-on-one through my business, where does this podcast serve others broadly? And one of the areas that I mentioned in there and that continues to come up for me is that, I'm seeing so much burnout at the executive level. So most of my coaching
mhm,
clients have already arrived in the C-suite and sometimes have been there for a while and are sort of questioning what's the next season in their journey. But this word burnout and exhaustion continues to come up, and for various reasons. For some people, it's deeply personal, but for many, it's the deeply personal challenges layered on top of what's happening on a macro level. And in the US, everybody gets to kind of experience what we're experiencing through the news and social media. But I think all that's happening here, that it's hard not
mhm,
to shoulder, right? As leaders, because not only are we processing it ourselves as leaders, as coaches, as humans, but we're also trying to lead people that are also processing that on top of what they have on their own. So I'm curious, what are you seeing with the people that you're coaching, especially those that are preparing to or stepping into leadership for the first time?
exactly. So definitely what I see is that a desire to move on, to step up in their careers. And I have clients that are willing to move to a leadership position. So I'm trying to help them to facilitate that step, to look for that step. That's one type of the clients. The other one is that they just got promoted to leader, to manager, and they need some guidance, some support on their next step, stepping up as a manager. And there's others as well that are not sure if they want to step into a leadership role or just keep growing on their next step in their career, right? So it's normally about when they have been working already between 5 to 10 years and they want to really progress. And it's that key moment that they will do a big jump or just a middle jump or a not so big jump in the end. And is it a critical moment for their careers? And that's really a good moment to to stop, step back, reflect, get really who they are, what they know, what to do, what they are best at, and where they will have probably more possibilities to have success, depending on where they try to achieve as a next step, right? So in this
Yeah.
environment that now we have, as you said, some macroeconomics that are putting companies um, in a stretch situation with really a lot of control on expenses, on costs. It's a challenge, and sometimes there are almost very few opportunities to change. I mean, very few openings there. So you need to be very surgical. Where do you put your betting? Where do you really apply for succeeding with having more probabilities of success in a way? No? So with the coaching, that is definitely accelerating it. And I'm seeing some of my coaches that I was coaching between 1 year and 3 months until now, um, they they are achieving their goals. Some of them are being promoted, and I'm super happy for that because it's clearly a demonstration that if you work on that properly, you have more chances to really get it. And I'm super happy for that.
That's wonderful. And that is where coaching becomes a powerful support system as, they're trying to figure out what's next in their career. And in some cases trying to figure out how do they just stay relevant in an organization that might be shrinking, like we see that here as well, especially in the tech space. So very understandable. So I'm sure they're grateful for the help, and what a wonderful thing to have success stories that you can share. Because it's not all doom and gloom where people are just trying to hang on to their role. They're also experiencing upward
Mhm.
mobility and progression. So it's wonderful.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I am curious, Mark, on what other coaches are leaning to next as I know it hasn't been that long since we've gone through the credentialing process, but what are you exploring right now to just grow your impact with coaching, whether it's internally or externally? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So indeed, I want to continue multiplying my impact to the world, uh, helping others. As I was mentioning, since I started, I have been coaching more than 30 people already in a short period of time because it's my passion, definitely on top of my current role that I have in a multinational, right, in a corporate. So it's my hobby that I'm super happy. My idea is to continue doing that. I have had most of them from my own company that are seeking for help, and I'm helping. But I'm now really in social media trying to get more coaches from the outside the corporate environment that I'm in now, and slowly but are coming. And despite my niche is career development, clearly, there are some things that are coming to support, to achieve some goals that are also very interesting. That I'm really excited that people is reaching out and say, hey, can you help me achieving this goal that I have, that I would like to change this or that? And it's really working. And I just want to continue multiplying it and expanding this with the synergy as I was mentioning. By the way, I'm coaching as well. I'm doing an exchange with coaches. So recurrently, every 3 months, I offer my coaching to other coaches, and we do an exchange. So I coach them and they coach me for a period of 3 months. And I'm doing this as a recurring way of, first of all, learning from how the other coaches are doing it, and also leveraging and getting coached myself. Because of course, I have a lot of challenges ahead of me, in front of me, that I want to achieve or I need to change. Nobody's perfect, and it's great. It's a luxury of having, offering. It's again giving and receiving again on this way of helping others, right? So yeah, it can only just multiply.
So that reminds me of when we were going through our preparation to sit for the ICF exam when we were doing the coaching each other and providing feedback. I love that. I think we should do that more. It shouldn't really be just a requirement as part of course completion, but I think yeah, it's a way to continue to grow as a coach and to
Mhm.
seek feedback. I think we all should probably have coaches, honestly. Just like I think therapists should have therapists. I think
Yeah.
it's important to also, to also have people to continue to bounce off of each other on not only our coaching techniques, but
Mhm.
some of what we have to sort of navigate, help our clients navigate can be heavy for us as well. So I love
Mhm.
that you have that group and people that you're reflecting together with. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so now I have some lightning round questions for you that is going to feel a little bit like a game show, but just
Mhm.
uh, what comes right off the top of your head. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. You ready?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. So tell me one leadership or coaching myth that you would like to retire or abolish from people's mindsets.
Yeah, I would say that in general, directing. I see a lot of managers that are still, they call themselves that they are coaching, but they are not coaching. They are giving solutions. Um, Sometimes mixed with mentoring, let's say. Because actually, I can tell you at least in Spain, coaching is not so known yet. And a lot of times I need to explain what is coaching about. And they mix it with mentoring, with directing, with consulting, and it's definitely not that. So, so that's what I would like to really, as you said, go more into the questioning and challenging than than offering the solutions that we think that needs to be put just through.
Agree. I agree. Okay. And then tell me something that's shaping your thinking right now.
Well, several of my coachees discovered that what they were missing, it was their personal brand. And that was really making me think that actually I need to build my own personal brand, that I'm working on it right now. And of course, coaching, I'm not giving recipes to anyone, of course, but I wanted to discover more about personal branding, marketing yourself, etc. So that's what I'm right now reading a book about that. That another coach that I met in Barcelona wrote and published, and I had the chance through networking to know him personally, and I'm reading this book to really be able to probably do the proper questions, not giving answers, but asking the right questions towards what will help my clients to create their personal brand.
I love that. Awesome. Okay. And then one question that every leader should be asking their team. What do you think that is?
Wow. Um, the one that I like the most is how would you do it? So a lot of times
Mm,
your team is coming with questions, asking for guidance. And that's where I learned. We don't need to give the solution. We don't need to guide so much. We should challenge them in order to grow. So the sentence that I have put in practice quite a lot recently is, how would you do it? What do you propose? And that is okay. That's making them uh, stop, think, and bring ideas. And there's no bad idea. There's a idea that okay can enlighten other ideas, and it's a brainstorming triggered by the questioning.
I love that. It opens the door for co-creation. So that's a good one.
Indeed.
Well, Marc, I really enjoyed this conversation. What stands out to me is how many natural coaches exist inside of organizations and how powerful it is that we allow our instincts to lead us to acquire true skill sets and
Mhm,
scientific skill sets like we have. And I think there's so much coaching work out there to be done. I
mhm,
love to see how many people were going through the journey with us as we were going through preparation for our accreditation. And I hope to see, organizations like ICF do more to get coaches because I think there's a shortage
mhm,
of people doing this type of work, and it is really at the heart of leadership. So,
mhm,
um, and we know that coaching can create clarity and momentum for people who might otherwise feel stuck. And I think sadly there are a lot of people feeling stuck at various levels of their
mhm,
career and life these days. So before we end this, I was thinking of one fun signature question that I'm going to ask
mhm.
everybody on the podcast, so you get to be the first
Okay.
person to answer it. And that is, if you could instantly master any skill just for fun, not necessarily for work, what would it be and why?
Wow. Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is learn to fly. but that's
That's a good
but that
one.
I love science fictions. I love all of this stuff. So for me, flying will be what I would love to master. But that is, uh, if we go back to the ground, what I would like to master is still be more strategic than I am now. So
Mm,
I connect the dots. I see things. Actually, my current role is a strategic program manager, but I would like even to be more strategic. I would like even to be able to understand better the how everything is, the dynamics of everything, and be able to
mhm.
bring not sometimes solutions, but at least better questions to challenge the status quo, to understand what's going on, and to help people, organizations, governments, the world to go in the right direction.
I hope you acquire that skill and help us all.
For sure.
Well, Marc, thank you so much for being here and for being such a meaningful part of my journey. And to everyone for listening, thank you for being with us. We'll see you at the next episode of Unscripted Leadership. And before I go, I'm going to put you on the spot one more time, Marc, and that is because I know your focus is clients in Barcelona or at least in Spain.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you could do a 5-second infomercial on what it is that you do, but say it in Spanish, to your target audience, and why it's important for them to consider the work that you do, what would you say?
Diría que me encanta el coaching porque tengo una necesidad de ayudar a los demás. Veo en los demás que necesitan encontrar su camino, encontrar cómo conseguir sus éxitos, quizá la felicidad. Y el coaching realmente es una manera que ayuda a construir esta realidad, a hacerla más cercana, más posible, y me hace tremendamente feliz. Me llena el espíritu, el alma, y simplemente ayudar a los demás a conseguir sus objetivos.
All right. Thank you, Marc. We'll
It was
talk
great,
soon.
Ale. Yes. That's over. No, we can
Thank
cut it
you.
now.
We're
The
done. We're
recording is
done.
cut. It's cut.
Thanks for being with us for the very first episode with Marc. We covered a lot about coaching, leadership, and what it takes to grow through the unscripted moments, which are precious. We appreciate your time and getting to know us a little bit. Be sure to follow along for more unscripted leadership. Tune in on Spotify or YouTube or all of the various social media outlets. You can find me at Instagram at Proverbs_leadership_coach. And my website is proverbsleadership.com. I'd love to hear more about your own experience with what we're covering. So feel free to share in comments, DM, whatever is easiest for you. See you soon. Thanks.